Welcome to video 28. Now that our shopping cart page is showing the correct products, I want to be able to update and add in some additional functionality so we can easily remove or change the quantity for each item that's in the shopping cart. We actually have a lot of this already in place. We have a form which contains all of our shopping cart items. Each line in our form has an input that indicates the quantity. It's nicely named for us. If I go and inspect it, it's named product 1, so it's named based on the product plus the numeric ID value of that particular product. And then we have a submit button, this update cart button, ready to go and in place for us. So in order for us to do this, we need to do two things. First thing, we need to change the controller so that we add functionality that checks to see if the form has been submitted, and if so, it's going to loop through each row in our cart. It's going to access this input, and it's going to send that input off to our cart object, which is going to update the totals. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up cart.php. Near the bottom of the file, after we check to see if the empty variable has been set in the URL, I'm going to do if is set, and I'm going to check for update. Post update, that's the name of our input button. I know if that's been set, that our form has been submitted. And next step that I want to do is I want to be able to loop through each of the inputs in our form to be able to access that value and send it to the cart object if necessary. So I need to access the IDs of all of the products that are in the cart. So to do that, I'm going to do IDs equals, and I'm going to use the cart's get IDs function, like that. And then I need to double check, make sure that we actually have IDs to work with. So if So then if IDs does not equal null, then we want to loop through, so we're going to use a for each. And we're going to do for each IDs as ID. And then we want to make sure, are the values in our inputs actually numeric? Are they safe for us to send off to the cart object? So if is numeric, then we're going to check that post variable. And if you remember, it's called product plus the ID. And if that's valid, we're going to send this off to the cart. We're going to create a new method called update, which we'll be creating in a minute. It's going to accept two parameters. The first one is going to be the ID of the item that we're updating. And the second one is the quantity of that item that's in the cart. That's going to be post product ID, like that. And assuming all goes well, after the end of the if statement, we're going to add an alert. And we're going to say template set alert. We're going to say number of items in the cart updated, like that. So we have about half of this functionality in place. We just need to create the update method. So let's open up my mcart.php, the model, and let's add this in after our add method. So here we're going to do public function update. And as I said, it's going to take two variables here. It's going to take an ID, so the product ID, and it's going to take num, as in the quantity for this particular item. And as usual, I'm going to put in our documentation. And what this is going to do, it's going to update the quantity of a specific item in the cart. It's public. It's going to take 2 ints, and it's going to return null. It'll do the updating process, but it doesn't actually return true or false or anything like that. But what we do need to check is we need to check to see if the num is equal to 0. And if it is for some reason, we want to unset that particular variable. So unset, and we're going to unset session cart ID. So that'll remove this particular item completely from the cart. Else, if it's not 0, we want to update the quantity. So we do session cart ID, and that's going to equal num. There we go. So after I save my changes, let's go over to Chrome and double check. Hopefully I haven't made any bugs. So far so good. Let's update the quantity. Say we have 4 items, and once we hit the update cart button, this total price should change. There we go. And you'll notice we have an alert message in place. Quantity is bin 4, so it's updated correctly, and the total price has also been updated. So as you can see, it's not too complicated to add this functionality into the cart.